Hello?
Okay.
We're back.
Are we good?
All right. Okay. I'm here. Are you?
We're here.
We can hear you. Can you hear us? All
A
right.
little bit choppy, but I think we'll be fine now. Yeah. Okay.
I think we're good. Yeah, I can hear you. As long as yeah, we're good.
Are you me? Oh, yeah.
I can hear you. Are you able to hear us?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, Patricia, welcome to Zeldathon. We're happy to have you here.
So happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, of course, we're happy to have you here. Can you explain to everybody here what you do and what you play in Breath of the Wild? Like we don't know.
Absolutely. Well, what I did play was the voice of Princess Zelda in the first iteration of Breath of the Wild. For the English dub, of course, not the Japanese, German, Russian, French, or Spanish. So yes, in that sense, I'm the voice of the English Princess Zelda for that
cool.
The last Zelda game.
Very cool. And you are a voice actor, correct? I assume, yes. Of course, you're a voice actor.
One could say that. Yes, I am a voice actor. I really more consider myself an actor, just in general, because I also do theater and TV and things like that. But I really do love the voice work element of my job so very much. It's been such a fantastic part of my career and creative life. So yeah.
So when did you get started with acting in general?
I got started in acting, gosh, I was in high school. I had my first sort of forays in the theater. But before that, I grew up as an ice dancer. And so I'd been performing from a young age, and I was pretty serious about dance and music and things like that, which ultimately ended up helping in the voice career. But I really started to pursue acting as an adult and with like a seriousness when I was in university.
Wow, that's
so
really
around
cool.
the age of like 20. Yeah.
20. That's really cool. All right.
Oh, thanks.
So back to Zelda. So it's been 3 years since Breath of the Wild came out. That's crazy.
I can't even believe. Can you believe? I cannot believe it. It's like
No.
Time
How
flies.
weird does that time
so
go?
much.
It
Way
felt
too
like it
quick.
came out like yesterday. It's crazy.
Doesn't it feel like that? It feels like that for me too, and it's been such a wild ride. But oh my gosh,
Yeah.
3 years.
Almost 3 years in so far, and it's become like one of the most best-selling Zelda games ever. How does that make you feel being a part of that game?
I don't know, Alex. Like it's a kind of a surreal. How does it? I don't know. Being able to be part of anything that large, it's so much larger than yourself in your own life and the things that you can do by yourself. It's always an amazing thing, and that this is particularly like it really actually changed my life being part of this game. It changed my career. I've traveled a lot more because of it. I've met so many amazing people because of this role. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm eternally grateful, let's say that. If I'm looking at things that I'm grateful about in the new year, which is, I'm sort of in that state. I'm on vacation, about to go into the woods and, hang out, do some writing. I think about this as one of just the greatest gifts to have ever been a part of this franchise. It's so dang cool. And we're friends because of it, which is amazing too.
I'm really glad. And so speaking of which, like because you travel a lot and you're able to meet so many fans of the game, the series, have you had a couple of favorite moments of meeting people, like big stand out moments, like meeting fans?
Oh man, it would be hard to put a real favorite to that because I've had so many cool interactions with people. Some of them are just like really simple, wonderful laughing moments, and other ones are really deep, dramatic stories that people carry from their life growing up and having had Zelda in their family or in their life, things like that. So I've heard so many different stories, people overcoming illnesses and the game helping them with that. All of those things are extremely meaningful to me. I think what's fun about these last several months of traveling with the game is that it's so funny. I've met a lot of babies named Zelda and Link. I've met so many little kids. One of them whacked me in the face. I whacked me really hard in the face. But aside from that, which I minded not that much. I was like, well, Link can Link can do that as long as it's not intentional, you know.
That is too cute.
Yeah. Aside from that little whack in the face that didn't give me a black eye.
Oh, that's
no, I love that. I love that. Like it's because it's such a family-friendly game. I know this conversation sounds so family-friendly. Where I'm like, yeah, Link punched me in the face. But yeah, no, I've met a lot of babies this year, and some of them come with like adorable cosplay as well. And I love the way that families rally around the game. And that I get to actually be the person who gets to like hold baby Zelda or hold baby Link, and people bother to like send me pictures. I'm like, oh my god, like what is my life? This is the craziest thing.
If you're gonna go for that name, you have to accompany it with a baby cosplay, right? It's just part of the picture. It has to be there.
Oh man, you got to see some of those baby Links walking around like in the little diapers and the toddler. Yeah, I know you're right.
Totally.
You have the most wholesome moments. I'm so jealous. All right, so Patricia, what do you enjoy most about playing Zelda in the game?
Nothing. It's a horrible game.
Hot takes on Zeldathon.
Like there's some verbatim text of this, and that so it looks completely flatlined. Like you would have no idea that I said that with any sarcasm. What do I like? When I play the game, I enjoy the music. I actually just watched this like unofficial Zelda symphony recently that was just Breath of the Wild music, and so I went to go see it. It was done in Montreal. And people sort of rescored and like picked out a bunch of samples of the whole game, and like just the variety of incredible scoring that went on in that entire game. It's so vast and detailed for all the different worlds. So the music I really enjoy. Personally, I like to cook the foods. I'm a huge fan of like apples and things like that. So I enjoyed the first, like right off the bat, first thing you find is like apples. And hunting, which is also in my family. So apples and hunting, I feel very, I feel akin to this experience. What else? Let's see. Blowing up rocks. I have a lot of obsession with blowing up beautiful shiny things on the cliffs.
Same.
Yeah. Does anybody else relate to me here? Blowing up rocks on the cliff.
Every day.
Yes, indeed.
So,
you mean in the game?
So speaking of.
Oh yeah. Right.
Don't admit to anything.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've actually used bombs in real life ever. That's true. Not to blow up rocks or anything else.
Fair enough.
So
you
had mentioned you had mentioned cooking. Can you remind me what's your favorite thing to cook in Breath of the Wild?
Really simple, spicy meat.
Spicy
I think there's something really spicy meat. Yeah, like satisfying about that combination.
All right, and then is there something about Zelda, the princess? I'm just being clear, that you really admire that most people might not understand?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question. That most people might not understand.
From somebody who
it's interesting because I
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, what were you going to add to that?
I was just saying, in the sense that someone hasn't played the game that often or doesn't have a good idea what Zelda's like in the game, like her backstory.
Okay, interesting. Most of the things that I relate to with Zelda are very. I feel like they are really universally relatable. When people get to know her, they see themselves through her, which I do too. I think she's extremely human, and she's searching for something major in her life and in the game. And there's the family elements. There's the finding herself as a young warrior and as a woman herself. Like just all those things I relate to very much. The pressure that she has on her shoulders, the need to try to understand her own spirituality and the mysteries of the force of life, but by doing so, by looking in both nature and education and her own will, like all those things combined. Those are things that I relate to very much in her character. I don't think there's anything else. It's interesting, she's a little dark and cynical in this one, and I think I relate to that too, because
She is.
I just do, and I think a lot of people do too. Like, she's a rounded human, and we all know, like, being a human is. I was like, is both dark and light, which are two sides of the same coin, right? But yeah, exactly that.
Very cool. So, before I continue, Gannon, do we have any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I've got 2 questions.
Go for it.
All right. One of our fans, Melon Speedruns, donated $10. It says, Patricia, huge fan of your voice acting work. I'm playing Breath of the Wild as we speak. So my question is, how many takes did it take for you to record that "no" as Zelda saves Link from the Guardian?
Ooh, good question. Let's see. Well, ultimately, when you're in the room like that, that sort of thing, I think I recorded, I wouldn't even be able to put a number on it, maybe 10 or 15 or something like that. Because sometimes when you're recording those lines, you give them a bunch of different levels so that when they get to the moment where they're going to choose, when all that stuff is painted in and when the moment is like examined over and over again and a lot of people are watching it and they're deciding which level of that line would be the most effective, they would a different group of people would choose what that was going to actually sound like. So you have to give them several versions of different intensities. So I did that, and it was many. I'm not sure I would have a number per se because it's been a while. And also, when you're in the room, you're not counting. You're just like, did I get it? Did I get it? Here's another one. Let me try this, and you're really quite focused on the work itself. But yeah, multiple. Certainly more than one take for sure. Yeah. More than a few takes.
Yeah, it's always important to find the right take that works the best.
Yeah, and ultimately when you're in the room, it doesn't necessarily, what you think is working in the room might be like absolutely dead on when it comes to putting it into a session and making the final cut in a game, or it might be something totally different depending on how the story is being painted. So yeah.
Absolutely. So Gannon, next question.
Yeah, we have one more question from our audience. Gamer Goo donated $10. It says, question for the Queen. Are you at liberty to say whether or not you will be voicing Zelda in the Breath of the Wild sequel?
Ooh.
Probably, I don't know.
Thank you for asking. I am not at liberty to say, and I know nothing. And even if I did know, I would have to kill you. But I just...
Watch out, gamers.
NDAs are
it's an expression.
fierce
I'm
business.
totally joking.
But
in all fairness, no, I really don't know. And
Hate
not
Zelda will kill everyone.
Zelda will kill you. Okay. Just gotta wait and find out. Cool.
Can we get that as a T-shirt for this?
All right, cool. All good on questions over there?
Yep, that's all the questions we have from the audience.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do 2 more. I think we'll be good to go. Patricia, what's your favorite Zelda game?
Oh, I'm so biased. No, just kidding. Probably a toss-up between Breath of the Wild, just because I've had the most experience with that one in particular, and it is incredible and beautiful, and Ocarina of Time. Those are the 2 that I've had the most experience playing with and felt the most affinity to.
Very nice, very nice. All right, but speaking of Breath of the Wild 2, are you at liberty to tell us your opinion on Zelda's new hairstyle?
Ooh. I would hold back from most comments, but for that, I would say, just in my own completely biased way, and honestly knowing nothing about the game truly, except for what you guys know, which is that crazy cool trailer that came out in June. I love the haircut. I absolutely love it. It's great. And I've received several pieces of fan art just by being at conventions where people bring that to me because they're excited about it too. And it's hot. In the future, I would consider cutting my own hair like that if I had the option. I'm just like, ooh,
same.
That's a good idea. we should all cut our hair like that and or wear a wig and chop it off.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Next marathon.
I see that. All right, cool.
If I meet all y'all, yeah. Should all just have
I'm going to questions. Anybody else on the couch have questions?
I actually have one if you'll indulge me on that.
Go for it.
Absolutely not.
Our time is over. Getting stuffed by Zelda. Jeez. All right. Anyway, just out of curiosity, I'm sure you've been asked this question plenty before, but once you kind of get this role going, what was your experience with the series prior to it? And if you had experience, kind of what were the emotions going into learning that you got this role, which such a kind of a big role in this greater universe?
Well, I've said this before because it's kind of true. When I first found out that I got the role, it was like a skydiving adrenaline rush. And I was like, I almost peed my pants. I was like, like where you just have like a full body meltdown and you're like, no, that can't even be. That's impossible. Is it possible? And then that's followed by an extreme rush of like, oh my God, don't lose it. Don't lose this opportunity. So elation, panic, fear, and then elation again, and then just getting down to work. My experience before playing this game was, I had the NES growing up. So I played the original, played Ocarina of Time in high school, and was very aware, including that Robin Williams' daughter was named Zelda. I was very aware of the Zelda series and her as an iconic character. It was just something that I grew up knowing as well. So when it was announced that it was going to be that game, I was shocked and amazed, and then was told right after that this was the role as well. Mm-hmm. So it was mind blowing. It felt like my whole world had been flipped upside down. And as soon as I found that out and then realized I had very little time to sort of prepare before the recording began, I ordered a Hyrule Historia and started pouring through stuff online, only to realize, and then I also was like, hey, do you guys want me to learn Hylian, or is there a particular old world accent that you want me to play? I went through all of those questions, and they're like, no, you're already cast based on what we were looking for, and we've made those decisions already, and we're going to move forward with that stuff that that I had brought into the auditioning for it, not knowing what it was. So, but yeah, I tried anyway, as any good little actor would. I tried to do as much research as possible before the recording began, just to see that I'd filled out whatever I could with what I had. And then the rest of the stuff is, of course, coming from what's on the page that they give you, which is very much as important as any kind of backstory that you can look into. You've got to come from what is happening in the present and what they're giving you in that moment, because that's the only way to be real, fresh, and innovative, and it's the only way to breathe life into something, because you can't play the past. You have to play the character that you see in front of you, that human, and what they need, and what the script is telling you that they're, the context. So it was a bit of a combination of both those things.
Very cool.
But yeah, oh man, was it exciting. Yeah.
That's very cool, very cool. Thank you so much. Any more questions, guys, before we close out? Any more questions?
Hopefully a shorter one real quick. How hard was it to keep that NDA for this particular role?
It was both very hard and very easy, because hard being that it was a lonely thing to hold on to, because I was like, what's going to happen? And I also was recording it, and you don't know if you're going to make the final cut until the game comes out, because everybody's extremely secretive about everything. You just give it your best and you hope it's good enough. So there was that, but also it was easy in that I really, really didn't want to mess it up. So I was just so paranoid that anybody would find out anything about it, that I was just so tight-lipped.
I feel ya. All right, well, that's all for me today, and everybody at the couch. We're all good?
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Thank you
so much, Patricia.
My pleasure. I hear claps and I can't see you, but I love you.
There's 20 people in the room. So, well, thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate your time, and we'll hopefully see you later.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Amazing. Good luck with everything.
We will. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.